Hey, what's up, guys? Mikas here for the EDM session. This is episode 80, and we're starting a new mini-series in those shows where I'm gonna master some track. So previously, I was composing a lot of track from scratch from episode 1 to 70, which is a lot of tracks, really. I pick up some of the best one, I made them into full tracks, in the episode 70 to 79, and even on top of the session that I've done where I arrange and mix the track, I put on like hours of work on those tracks on top of it to make them really, really good. And at this point, I'm gonna take those tracks, those masters that we made together, and I'm gonna master them for you guys. This means I have my session open here. I will probably transition between headphones and speakers, and I have to do some cuts a little bit for you guys, but I will try to leave the audio untouched. That means what you really hear from now until the end is the result of my work. So I will have my voice, of course, overlay so you can hear me, but I will leave the audio intact, so it's going to be from the start to the end. And what we're mastering today is a deep progressive track. I call it deep house, just to put the genre in perspective. It's got a lot. It's called Chronos. It's a template on our site. It's exactly the template that we have on the site minus the compression and the limiting that I put. When I do it for a template, I use Logic plugins. For the mastering session, I'm going to use Waves. I'm using the most advanced tool that I use for so many years now that I'm really accustomed to. I tend to do mastering in stages, with the gain staging. So I start very, very slowly, and I do really small increment in each plugin. So instead of having one plugin that does a lot of the work, I use like small incremental. So I do a little bit of compression, I do some limiting, I do some more compression, I do some more warming, and it's all a little bit slowly increasing to get the final result. So first of all, I'm gonna play you a bit of the track and listen to it here. Like I said, I'm gonna switch to speakers at some point, and I will have to turn off the mic. So, or I don't know, I'm gonna see in the edit how it sounds, to make it work for you guys. So this is the track. It's called Chronos, 118 BPM. Of course, master 96K, 32 bits. It's a really, really clean track. Worked a lot on it. It's melodic. I have a lot of room here. I'm at around minus 20. So I'm gonna do it like really, so and tell you what I do with the elements. So I'm starting with this Rec 6 Renaissance EQ, and this is mostly for me like a summing. So I'm gonna go with it, and I'm gonna go on the loudest part of the track, probably let's say here, and then I'm gonna sum it. So I'm gonna bring it as loud as I can without clipping. And it's automatically when it's clipping, I'm just bringing it down just a little bit. So just to get the gain to the highest level we can before we start applying some. Because when you mix, you mix to leave some space, but now we really want some loudness into this track. So this gives me that. If I have some touch up to do, sometime I will use the EQ, mostly not. I do cut a little bit the low end, and they're very, very minimal. And then I go into a vintage EQ. Here. Why? It's again a little bit of gain staging, a little bit of boost, very tiny bit. Again, I do my gain staging, so here. I do have a little bit of a, oh yeah, it was actually a minus, so depend on the track. I would put a little bit of boost, you can hear it in the kick. And then of course, always very important mastering, your gain staging always have to be stable. You don't clip at any stages of the mastering. So this again, this VEQ has a natural warmth to it in the circuit, so I use it just to warm a little bit without. To me it brings a touch, it's not obvious, it's not like the biggest thing, but again, it's incremental, a little bit more to get that big sound that we're looking for. So we're looking for not enormous limiting, not enormous compression, just a little thing that will actually at the end make the track not over compressed but still overly very loud. So then I have a linear EQ here, which is for, I would call it for repair. Linear EQ is really a flat response EQ that doesn't have really much character, that will do like precision work. This is a track that I mix. I personally, you know, when I mix the track myself, I don't really need anything. So for first, I'm gonna do my first test here, just to listen to the track with you guys. So I'm gonna crank it up. I get those little speakers. The room is treated quite well. There's actually acoustic treatment behind the walls. There's those panels I've put everywhere, just to get a feel. Very nice, very warm, it's clean. I mean, it's my track, so I know. However, what I hear already that I know that we will improve is that the top end is not airy and crisp and really there, you know, so we need to work on that. Sounds good to me. Let's continue in the headphones. Wanted to hear to make sure there's no big trouble or something. Sometimes the headphones you don't catch everything. I'm used to mastering headphones and I really trust this chain, so it's not always super necessary. And then some people will hate me for that. I do not care what people think because I know the result I'm looking for. So I put a limiter, for the first limiter in the chain. 2 dB, very little, just a little bit more loudness. Again, you know, you can see here it's slowly gonna go up, not much, step by step. So again, this is just to bring some loudness. I'm just gonna listen to. So I want to go where this bass hit at first. Where is it here? Right here. It's good because it's also a good thing to have if you do mastering, to know the original BPM of the track to set up the grid. So it's 118. It is 118 here. I have my transition at 33, 65. So all the limits are in time. So if I want to work on separate segments, I can. So that's what we're doing now. Okay, L2, bit of maximizing. Going into LinMB, which again, a lot of people will hate, not a lot, but some, you know, purists. Some people don't like this. I personally love it. Adaptive electro mastering, not too much, a little bit. To me, this contain the track into some bounce, so it's bounce. So after this, most of the speaker would sound very good. You know, just this is like an amazing tool. Waves does this to perfection. There's also Eventide that do things like that. There was TC Electronics that was doing something like, it's linear phase, it's processing different level of compression and dynamics. So you can see I'm hitting it not too much. The bass is a bit heavy, so it's hitting it a bit more. So here we have a bit of clipping, so I'm bringing it down. I think this was, sometimes it is only at the start, when you start the sound, the initial jolt will make the plugin go over. So actually with 32 the 32 bits at 96 Hertz, you can actually go plus 10 without really any damage. There might be some damage within the plugin themselves, but usually not. So here we go. Now we're not clipping without. For me, we kind of put the track within the speakers. It's hard to explain, but that's a good one. Then I'm going with an API 2500 legendary API compressor, just to give a nudge again. Lane modern mastering. I like this for the low end, for the kick. It just give that softness. Again, this is deep house. I mean, on a trance track, I'm definitely gonna do things a little bit differently. But for this is good. Loudness? We're not so loud yet. Even knowing that there's auto gain here. Was it on manual? Oh, wait a second. I'm bringing it to 0. Let's see where we're at on our gain staging. Minus 3.6. We're not really pushing it. yet, which is good. We don't want to. Then I get a G channel here that sometime I use. So there is something about this G console, this SSL logic with the low end. Personally, I like it, and the top end too, mostly the low end. So you will be able to bring some richness, some really kind of thick low end, you know, that won't be somehow boosted. So there's a difference between some character and boosting. So if you're boosting, you just bring the frequency up. Good. But if you use this, for me, without boosting a certain range, you just bring that roundness that's there. So let's input is good. Again, there's no clipping. There seemed to be something here, but we're gonna review the track completely before. So you guys know, all the track that I'm gonna master on those gonna go into a compilation that's gonna call Sessions on my label Progressive Grooves Records. So all of these are actually going onto Beatport, Spotify and everything. So if you like the track, you can go stream it, listen to it. It's gonna be there. This is Mika's Chronos. So without, you can hear some click because it's start and stop. This, for me, this is a bit of a, in the kick and in the low end, is like that roundness that's coming there. I will go again into the speakers because we want a few stages. So, and I will back up here. This is good. I think we still need to create a little bit more air to the top end. Kick is tight, bass is tight. Very good. Next. So this is a checkup, you know, I do a checkup with the speakers just to really get a feel of the track, to see really that there's nothing that's sticking out. But with those tools and this processing, I would be very surprised if there would be something seems to be a little bit overboard there. So I'm gonna forward a little bit in the track. Okay, let's continue. Now I have a centers that I do not always use. This plugin is very good to really make the track wider into the speakers. So width. So you might have the feeling that there's more volume. There's not actually more volume, it's just more rounded in the speaker. And by the way, this mastering session will also be available on our site, so you can master your own deep-house track with the session, of course. All of the plugins, all the setting like they are at the end of the session. I will also include this master so you can play with it. So without. So you really have the perception that that there's actually more loudness, but it's just the center. So the sides are more or wider. I don't know exactly what this plugin does. It's in the stereo field, I'm not certain, but I send more high and punch to the sides. The center I don't touch because it's the kick and the bass and we really need. And we continue here. I have a Kramer tape, which for this track I will try to put a little bit, but really this you have to use with caution because you can really overblow the track easily. It's not that great for dance music. It would be probably better for hip hop. For this type of dance music, maybe if it's cold a little bit, but when I made the track, I mean the frequency, everything is clean and it's already warm, so I'm not sure I won't, but we'll give it a try. You can also achieve more loudness through this again. So this will dictate how much juice are you putting on the tape, or how loud are you sending to tape. So this is definitely too loud. it does something decent also to the top end. You can see that there's a bit more distortion. I like it. Very light. See, we're not really raising the volume, just adding a little bit of character again. Then we're going into the SSL. Again, choose with caution. I know some people say it doesn't make sense, but I like what it does to the kick. It gives a nice like gluing punch. But again, not too much, couple dB, 2-3 dB of compression, that's it. Then we're going into a second LinMB, guys. After that, I will have a listen really to a big part of the track. This one is a completely different setting. This one is electro, adaptive, it's open, it does slight work. This one is opto, it's much tighter, the bandwidth is much smaller, and we're just gonna apply a little bit more to really get that nice clean airy feel that you find into very well mastered track. I started doing that recently to add a second one, and I was like, wow, this is good. I've never seen that done. I kind of figured that out, and personally it did change a lot of the nature of the track. I always try to achieve this super clean tight look, I mean feel. So let's listen with course, we're gonna have to work on our gain without. Sorry for the little crack and pop. It's just the DAW that is, working it out. So, guys, it's not doing so much to the track, but without. It just feels more centered, feel more focused. It just has this kind of perfect clean feel that is just there. I personally mastered thousands of tracks for myself, for some customers, for my record label, Progressive Grooves and stuff, and this took me a while to really get it. I actually did those settings myself with different attacks for the electro. This one I didn't really touch, but again, it's not doing so much to the track. Okay, and see, we're already at minus 13 in the peaks, so we're loud. We're definitely already achieved like a good loudness, and for reference, we shouldn't really go above, minus 8, minus 10 LUFS with the L316, which I will put last. So this is just a monster maximizer, and it will make everything super loud immediately. And while we're gonna use it again with moderation. So first I'm gonna listen to what we have here in the room. One of the things that does, that I like to tell people, is it bring the music close to the ears. It bring the music close to the speaker, which is bringing it close to your ears. It's like it's there. It's like it's present. It's like, this is amazing. We are almost at the end of this mastering chain here with the last part, which is L316. It's basic setting. I don't play with this. This is a very advanced tool. I did not have too much time to study, so basic does perfect. is a beauty, this track. Bring it back after the breakdown here. Very good. Kick is tight, everything is tight, everything is in the right place, like we say. I personally prefer my track a bit more bassy, a bit more forward. Some people like to be completely flat. Personally, I like it. So we're gonna complete this here, applying some maximization. So you can see here we're at about -12. First, I'm gonna go here. So this to use is you go like this. Then when you occur, just do your demo, guys. When you occur loss of signal, like there, ouch, it's because you're too far. So you don't want to destroy your track. See at there, -5 dB of gain. I'm about right, and I know that my LUFS will be about right too. So this is as much gain I'm gonna give. Of course, out ceiling -0.2 always to leave some room. This is an old thing that I know from a long time ago. I know that this should be okay because it was just a restart. What this maximizing will destroy first is the low end, so you have to be very careful with that. So again, -9, -8, -9. It's loud. Let's be honest. It's not like a very, but it still has dynamic, you know, it's not completely flattened max like some EDM tracks. So I think we're in good territories. And what we do when we're done with a track like this, I will do like an audition, you know, so some listening. So let's look where we're at. That's all good. So now that everything's into place, everything is there, I'll take off those completely and I'm gonna crank it up for myself and for you guys. You can hear it. I might cut the mic for a minute, so I just want to hear from the start. really well contained. I like it. Even knowing there's this big bass pad in the back, it's not overly taking the room. So this is what the LinMB is good with, to really balance everything out. Guys, so we're gonna switch back to headphones. I think we got a very nice track, very clean, very satisfied with the result. Like I said, the track was prepared, like it was mixed like perfectly. I put on a lot of work to make everything clean, not to have too much compression, absolutely no limiting, no compression on the main out of this track. So when I took it, like you can tell, I had a lot of space. It was 96K, 32 bits, very minus 24 decibel average. I had the room to really do everything with it. And that's gonna be it, guys, for the first episode of our EDM session mastering. So I'm starting with this. I'm gonna do some trance, some progressive. I got a drum and bass track I'm really looking forward to master with you guys. And of course, this session will be available on our site to download for $5. So you're gonna get the session, the track, you can play with it, you can put your own track in there, look at the video, look at what I am doing, get to master your own track for $5. I mean, or at least give it a try and have fun with it. And this is the EDM session for you. Of course, as always, may the sound